Much, much, much better SummerSlam. Now, was that so hard, WWF? Now, I will admit this show is not perfect. It's still not one of the greatest SummerSlams of all time, but this was a way much better improvement than the first SummerSlam that we got. I do believe that we had potential of having a much better show than this, but it was still good for what we got, and it was actually very entertaining. Even the little mini matches weren't that bad. But this show was definitely a much better take on it, and let's just start talking about it. We have a kick-ass match between the Brainbusters and the Heart Foundation. Great back and forth, two of the greatest tag teams of all time. This was a proof of that. Brainbusters get the victory, but the real winner is us. This was a great match. Then we get Dusty Rhodes versus the Honky Tonk Man. This was a solid, decent little match. Honestly, the best part was when Dusty Rhodes knocks out Honky Tonk Man with the guitar, and then Honky Tonk Man is messing up his promo afterwards. This show, this match was what for what it was. It was fine. It's crazy that Dusty Rhodes never amounted to anything in the WWF. So much so that he had to go to WCW to get his spark back into things. Mr. Perfect defeated the Red Rooster. Man, the Red Rooster was such a dumb gimmick. I just feel bad, but at least it did its job of giving you Mr. Perfect on top yet again. And even though this was a squash, I know it was supposed to be longer, but Red Rooster injured his leg at some point. But let's be honest, did we really want to see a longer version of this? No, thank you. Now we had Tito Santana and the Rockers losing to the Fabulous Juice and Rick Martel. This was clearly their way of just putting a bunch of people together. Obviously, the main match was supposed to be Tito Santana and Rick Martel, but then Rockers had nothing to do. The Fabulous Juice had nothing to do, so I just put them in a six-man tag, and it worked out for the best, and it was really good because I think down the road they wanted Tito Santana to get that victory over Rick Martel. And for what this was, I wasn't hating on it. This was actually a very fun and entertaining tag team match. You rarely get these, at least to be this good, and this was fun for what it was. It has basically six pretty solid workers, and they had a all great chemistry, and I like that they continue on the story with Tito and Rick Martel down the road. But then we get the match of the night. Ravishing Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a fantastic match. Clearly, these guys have amazing chemistry. They had a good match at WrestleMania 5, and they had a better match here at SummerSlam. The main the funniest part of this match was the interview before where Mean Gene's interviewing Rick Rude, and then the SummerSlam sign falls down, and Mean Gene just breaks character, starts cussing like what the hell. Um, but anyways, the match was good. It really showed that like if you give Ultimate Warrior the right wrestler, you basically have a pretty solid match with him. And the cool part about this was the return of Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper does get involved in this match and then eventually costs Rick Rude the match, leading to eventually uh, Roddy Piper coming back out of retirement to get back in the ring down the road. So that was awesome to finally have that for Roddy Piper. Another tag team match with Demolition and King Jim Duggan. Side note, I didn't bring up the Brother Love promo that he had in the last video in the first SummerSlam where it was Jim Duggan and Brother Love. That was just annoying. At that point, I was just ready to turn the TV off. But, anyways, Jim Duggan, King Duggan, and Demolition take on the Twin Towers and Andre the Giant. Three big men versus uh, three, you could say heavyweights, but like not super weights like Andre, Bossman, and Akeem. But this was fine. This was really all about can these three beat these three giants, and sure enough, they did. And I guess this was supposed to be a tag team championship match, but I guess I think Haku was the tag team champion, and he got injured. I don't know what the story is here, but this was all right. This was definitely one of their weaker matches, but it was still a fun entry, and it was good to see Demolition, uh, Andre, Duggan. Like these are some guys that I like, so can't really hate on it, but it's not a match that I would go back and watch. It was fine. Greg Valentine versus Hercules. This was clearly supposed to be a build up to Greg Valentine and Garvin. But they needed somebody, so they just threw in Hercules. This was definitely one of the weaker matches of the night. Eventually, Greg Valentine and Garvin do eventually have that match down the road, but not yet. Ted DiBiase and Jimmy Snuka. Uh, Jimmy Snuka gets counted out thanks to shenanigans from Virgil. But this was a fun match, and it was good to have two good workers here, just telling a cohesive story, even though the match ended in a countout. But I mean, it was nice to see these guys yet again. But then we move on to the main event, which was to me the weakest match of the night, which was Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Macho Man Randy Savage and Zeus. So the story was after Hulk Hogan took the championship off of Macho Man, he decided to bring in Zeus, the fictional character from the movie No Holds Barred, into the story. And basically, Zeus wants revenge for Hulk Hogan. This was their way of promoting No Holds Barred, that god awful movie. And I guess they needed someone to tag team with Hulk Hogan. And of all people, they landed on Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Honestly, this should have been Hogan and Savage, the rematch, the first ever WWF Championship match. That would have been perfect, but instead we get this ridiculous tag team match with Zeus. Now Deebo, I love Deebo. I love them on Friday, but even he had a presence, but he wasn't a wrestler, and he could admit that. Um, Brutus Beefcake, I feel like if he wasn't Hulk Hogan's friends, he wouldn't have been pushed to the mannerisms that he is today. But I guess we got what we got, and I mean, you did send that crowd home happy with Hogan and Savage, but if you wanted Zeus involved, you could have had him be in the corner of Savage, and then eventually some big name comes and helps even the odds for Hulk Hogan just so he get the victory. They could have done something with that, but I guess you don't want Hulk Hogan to lose that spotlight, brother. But yeah, this show overall was much better than the first SummerSlam. I'll give it a B. It's a very fun show with a lot of cool moments and some really good matches. But yeah, we're not there quite to like the epic SummerSlams. I know the '90s is gonna be rough up until the Attitude Era, but I'm looking forward to talking about SummerSlam. So, wish me luck with 1990 SummerSlam tomorrow or whenever I upload that video. But anyways, take care, everybody.